Hi everyone, how are you? Welcome back. My name's Afton and happy St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day isn't really a day that I generally celebrate. I have no Irish in me, but it's always kind of fun to see what antics people get up to. And today I thought we would do a tag called St. Patty's Tarot. This is a VR2 Cosmic Lunar Soul and Priscilla's Tarot Corner that I believe came out last year, and I had it written down as to do. And I was looking through my notes and saw it, and I was like, perfect, let's do that. This only has about 7 prompts, and a couple of them aren't even really about decks. So it should just be a fun, fast video. So grab something to drink and yeah, join me. We're going to start with the first prompt, obviously, which is the end of the rainbow. What deck did you have a hard time finding or tracking down? And for this one, I thought I would show this deck, which is the Vindur Tarot, or the Vindur Deck, rather. This, I believe, is out of print. I don't know if the creator has intentions to reprint it or not. She's kind of said, I think you can sign up for her mailing list to get any news on if she decides to reprint it. There are 2 editions of this deck, and I do have both of them. There's no significant changes between the decks other than she went borderless on the 2nd edition. She did do a little bit, I think, too, of reworking some of the artwork, just in terms of making the figures that appear in the deck, I think, dare I say, less Caucasian looking and more interracial, as much as this style can be interracial. So let's start flipping through. So the story with this deck is that it had been on my wish list for a while, and I had it marked like as a favorite down in my Etsy account, and I just kind of kept putting it off, thinking that it was always going to be in stock. And then one day it was gone, and I was devastated. And of course, thinking that, oh, it's okay, she'll put up more decks, it'll be fine, like the listing will come back, and it didn't. And so I didn't then finally followed the creator on Instagram, and of course a couple months prior she had put up a post on Instagram saying only a few more left, like make sure you buy if you want a copy. And of course I didn't see that, had no idea, and then so the deck was gone. So then I went on a quest to find a copy, found a copy of the 1st edition, which is this one, on eBay for a relatively reasonable price. I mean, it was still like an out of print price, but not like super crazy or anything like that. Slightly more than what, you know, the person would have actually paid for it, being in print. And so I grabbed it, and was super happy that I did. I absolutely love it. And then maybe like a year later, maybe less than that, there was a video by Fairlight Tarot where I believe she showed this deck and mentioned that a store in Singapore had it in stock still, or that she'd recently purchased it from there. So I went online, because I did really like the 2nd edition as well, with those slight changes that she made. And so I went and bought a copy there, and was a little bit nervous because even though Fairlight Tarot, Sylvia had said that she had gotten her copy there, it's always nerve-wracking buying online from a store that you're not super familiar with, right? And people can have different experiences with the same vendors. So I purchased the copy, and then didn't hear anything for like a week or 2. Finally managed to get in contact with the owner of the shop via Instagram, I think, like her Instagram account for the shop. And everything was fine. She had just been sick, and also I think had a relatively newborn baby, so she hadn't shipped out the deck yet. But it was all fine in the end. So I finally ended up with a copy, or an extra copy, I guess I should say. So that's the story of how I acquired this deck. and I'm really glad that I have both copies. This copy, the first edition, I will say the greens are a lot more vibrant than they are in the second edition, so I definitely prefer the coloration in this version. They're a lot more like gray almost in the second edition, but I still really like the other edition as well. So that is the end of the rainbow deck, the Vindur Tarot, or Vindur Deck, by Leah Pantea, I believe is her name. This is the first edition. And prompt number 2, Pot of Gold. When you found that deck, was it worth the quest? Yes, absolutely. I wish I hadn't, paid like an out of print price for the first edition when I finally found a copy of the second edition for a regular price, but it is what it is. And I don't really regret it overall. So yeah, so this is the Vindur deck. Prompt number 3, Shamrock Shake. What's your favorite snack when doing readings? I typically, when I'm reading, I don't read for anybody else. I just read for myself. And when I do that, I tend to not snack so much because I don't want anything on my hands as I do that to get on the cards. But I will often have like a glass of water, or my addiction these days is chai tea lattes from Starbucks. So that's usually what I'll have, or I do have like a Keurig type chai tea latte thing pod that I can make at home as well. So that's usually what I'll be sipping, something nice and warm and comforting when I'm doing my readings. Prompt 4, the Leprechaun. Do you own a rare or out of print deck? And if not, which one would you get if you could? So the one that I would get if I could is the Sistine Tarot. I think I've mentioned this before. It was just a limited run by Rose Bay on her Make Playing Cards shop, and I didn't find out about it until well after that window had closed. So that was disappointing, but at the same time, it is what it is. So if you know anybody who has an extra copy, it'll happen eventually, or maybe it won't. Who knows? But the deck that I do have that is out of print is this one. This is my Jonasa House Tarot 5th edition. I also have the 7th edition as well, and she did recently release the 8th edition, which I did not purchase. I grabbed this one pretty much purely because it's green and it fits the theme for this. So this is the Jonasa House 5th edition. Like I said, I really like these backs. This is the green edition, and I think it's really, really pretty. This is the one out of the 2 editions that I have that I will reach for. I'm not like in love with the color palette. I do like the green a lot. I do prefer the color palette of the 7th edition. It has lots more purples in it. But this one I will grab pretty much primarily because of the size. It's much shorter. It's much easier to handle than the other one is. The other size is narrow and really quite long, and I can't shuffle with it. Like I just find it very difficult to use. So this is the one I will grab instead. It's very luscious and very fitting for this prompt, especially since it's green. So that is the Jonasa House 5th edition for my Leprechaun deck. Prompt number 5, 4-Leaf Clover, a deck you thought would just be just another deck, but turned out to be something great. This one is a tried and true in my collection. This is my Northern Animal Tarot. This is my first edition, like oops copy. I'm not really sure what was oops about it, but that's what she had it labeled as. I have edged it. Let's get some of these out of here. So this one is a slightly oversized deck. I did do a larger corner round on the edges, and then I did edge it, as you can probably tell. And this is one that I wasn't sure of. So when I got this deck, the Kickstarter for the 2nd edition had just come out or popped up on Kickstarter. And the creator is relatively local to me, so I was, first of all, really excited about that. I wasn't 100% sold on the deck just looking at the Kickstarter, but I backed the second edition on Kickstarter and then kept thinking about it, and then learned that she had copies of like the imperfect first edition on her website still. And so I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to wait until the Kickstarter, like until that deck actually comes in. So I went and grabbed a copy off of her website, and I'm really glad that I did because I absolutely love this deck. This one has the darker backs, as you can see. The colors in this one are slightly more muted than what they are in the newer editions. Love that double card. And I just think it's adorable, but I definitely was kind of on the fence about the animals being anthropomorphized. It's not really my thing, but her artwork is just so lovely. I have a journal that has the sun on one side of it as well. And they're just so cute. And in terms of, you know, having an actual, like a Rider-Waite-Smith clone, more or less, this one, I don't know, it just makes me giggle. They're just so cute and adorable. So I'm really happy that I have this. It's definitely turned into one of the decks that I use quite often. And I do have the newer editions as well. I did end up rehoming the second edition just because I could not stand the cardstock. It was also oversized and quite thick. And it really was like that cardboardy feel. It did not like it at all. But the third edition that she ended up putting out, both the non-linen and the linen, they're both lovely. But this one is my very first one, so I'm attached to this one out of all of them. So that is my 4-Leaf Clover, the deck that turned out to be something great that I really wasn't expecting to. It's the Northern Animal Tarot. Put those guys away. Prompt number 6. Irish Whiskey, a deck that's always a party or a celebration. For this one, I had to go with the Desert Illuminations Tarot. This one is the indie edition, the second edition. I do want to get a copy of the mass market that came out recently, just because that comes with the guidebook, or I think she calls it the codex, which I did not get when I acquired my indie edition. But I mean, look at the colors. They're just so fun. And the pentacles are cactus, but there's a lot of aliens in that suit. So that's the main reason I love it. I love the turquoise. I believe the mass market edition has like turquoise edges, which would be amazing. So yeah, this one is just when I want like a giggle, this is the one that I pull out. Yeah. It just makes me happy just even looking. I can't stop laughing even as I'm looking through the cards right now. So yeah, so this is the Irish Whiskey, a deck that's always a party or a celebration, is the Desert Illuminations Tarot by Lindsay D. Williams. Available mass market now, so go get your copy. The backs are also amazing on this. I believe it stayed the same for the mass market. And last prompt, Rich Heritage. What deck in your collection has so much depth to it, whether with the art, guidebook, or the readings? This one, I chose the Mysteries of the Black Madonna Tarot by Hetjen Grobler. This comes with a very hefty guidebook, as you can see, just full of information. I have not really started to work with this deck yet. I purchased it as well as the Mysteries of Mary Tarot at the same time. They are very expensive decks. I just will be upfront with you about that. And she has a new deck coming out as well, Mysteries of the Red Madonna, which is based on Mary Magdalene. So somewhere around, I want to say maybe September of last year, I just started having like this feeling that I wanted to incorporate some, I don't know what's the right word, way to say this, like some Christian, I just kind of wanted to delve into that a little bit. I was raised in the United Church, up until I was about 8 or so. And then my mom kind of went off on her own journey of spirituality. So that's kind of where I followed. So I didn't really grow up in the church. But there always has been that influence in my life. But I don't really know a whole lot of the stories. And so I've kind of, like I said, been wanting to delve more into that and see how I can incorporate that into my practice. Because I do very much think of like Jesus as Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary and Joseph as like ascended masters, like these great teachers that are, you know, very much present and have a lot to teach us. And yeah, but this is definitely one, this is a study deck. Like I don't pull this out and just do a tarot reading with this. It's very much a pull one card, read from the book, see if I understand what she's even saying when I read from the guidebook, and go from there and see, you know, how I can connect that to what's going on in my life. So yeah, this is the Mysteries of the Black Madonna Tarot. Really, really beautiful. This is the newest edition as well. It has the kind of like a metallic black, she calls it metallic black, but you can see that there is like a gold almost shine to it, or off camera it's almost like a coppery color to it. It's very strange. I've never experienced that before, like that color before. It's very cool. And now I'm gonna get it all out of order, but that's okay. So yeah, this is the St. Patty's Tarot tag by Cosmic Lunar Soul and Priscilla's Tarot Corner. And I hope maybe somebody will pick it up again this year. Lots of fun. I was debating between this one and just doing, I think it was like my green tarot decks or something like that. But I realized I don't really have a lot of green. I've got a couple decks that have feature green predominantly, but not a whole lot. So this was the one I went with. So I hope you enjoyed just a quick little video here today, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks. Have an awesome day. Bye.